You got here, you had the double bigs. Celtics have run a ton of double bigs. Memphis, ton of double bigs. It's like a new trend in the NBA. I don't want you to get into the Luka trade, but Dallas is making a big commitment to double bigs, right, with Anthony Davis. So, what is it when you knew when you got here? You're like, we're going to go with that, and
Yeah.
what is some of the reasons why in the NBA right now you would go with a double big?
You're better defensively, number one, and then if you can get one of them to shoot or be a respectable shooter, like we have with Evan, it really helps. But just your rim protection, being able to protect the paint. And Scal, I saw it in Golden State, right, with Looney and Draymond. So I had that, and I was shocked when I went there because I always played with, basically four shooters and one big, in Brooklyn, and I saw that work. And you know how it is, Scott. Like every series is different, so it might be a series for two bigs, playoff series. It might be a playoff series for not two, but playing smaller. So it just gives you more versatility. But the defensive side of it, there's stark evidence that it really helps. So protects your paint, protects your rim.
Chris.
Hey Kenny, what are you hoping to see from the group tonight?
I don't know. Can we compete with the best? I think that's always the challenge, right? Like when you're at this level, you're 40-9, best defending champions come in, like another test, and I mean, you could say we've been okay against the best team, and I don't, OKC we split. I guess Boston we split. Houston got us twice. So to me, it's a bit like another test against an elite team. Get a better measurement of where we are.
You touched on the trade deadline briefly the other night, but you
Yeah.
guys are 40-9. You've talked about how much you like the team and how much depth you have. With the trade deadline in a couple of days, do you have conversations with Kobe saying like,
Sure.
hey, I don't want you to mess with this. This is a really good thing we got going.
No, it's more what's you have to listen to you'd be really not smart if you didn't listen and talk about how you can get better. It's just it's the business we're in. We're really good, obviously, but could always be something out there that gets us to the next level. My one thing to Kobe is like we have great chemistry right now, and a great kind of culture, great locker room culture. That's super important to me. Obviously, continuity thing has really helped. So, we just gotta, if it is a trade, if it is a buyout, it's got to be the right fit, obviously.
Thank you.
Nate.
Hey Kenny, earlier in the season you talked about getting ready for the elite teams, elite opponents, and how like maybe there was over preparation for one of those. So where are you at now?
Oh, we over prepped today, man. We were listen, you get a little more hyped, for the best teams, and no, I'm joking. We always try to find the right balance of giving our guys, the right amount of information. Don't go overboard. So hopefully we did a better job this morning than we did in Boston in game one.
How much have you adjusted though, like as this has gone along?
Adjusted in what sense? Just preparing for the best
games,
teams.
OKC games.
Yeah, I think the guys want a little more when you're playing the better teams. Like, come on, man, like give us something. So you try to give them, but you can't like I said, can't go over the line. Where and that's same thing for playoffs, right? Like there's a certain point where these guys, it's like enough information, got to free their minds, they got to be ready to play. So, again, that was part of my discovering this team and what they needed, what kind of level of what amount of information they could take in.
Dan.
Along those lines, I know obviously when you get to the playoffs, like the games feel differently, but does a measuring stick game like this one feel different than in November or December? Like, does it amplify as the year goes along?
Huh. Good question. I would say the health fact, they're healthy, right? I think pretty much everybody's healthy. Though I think last time we played them, they weren't healthy. We have a few guys out, but I think it's more that than time of year. How do you look? How do you play when they're at full strength? So maybe you put a little more weight on this one. I would say.
And then along the lines with the trade deadline approaching, you've been places where moves have been made during the season. You've been places where
Yeah.
this season. What are the challenges of incorporating a new player into the mix when you're on a team that does make a move?
Again, I've seen smooth transitions and not so smooth. So really, it's a two-way street. Depends on the player, how willing they are to fit into the role, and then obviously it's the staff's job to get guys up to speed quick. I think most staffs have good experience with that. We have so many coaches now who create anything, script and coverages, and we get guys up to speed pretty well. But my experience usually it's been pretty seamless. If it's the right fit.
Mike?
When you guys played Boston the first time, I remember you said in the fourth quarter you regretted going away from Evan Mobley a little bit and thought you should have gotten the ball more. Is this a game where you feel like you have to not force feed Evan, but make sure he's involved offensively?
Yes, and I think especially come back from that injury, he's started out at kind of a maybe his usage wasn't that high, and it's more about that, like getting him back to a level where everybody's comfortable, getting him the ball. And you could see us, I think after the first game, we just started running ATOs for him, specifically, like, man, we gotta get him moving. But yeah, this is definitely it's important that he's involved. Obviously, have elite wing defenders on Don. Probably put Drew on DG, and then Jaylen Brown's on Don. So now you gotta you might have to go somewhere else. Is there a better matchup out there? So.
Jimmy, and then last one, Jeff.
Hey Kenny, it seems like every year the defending champion hits some sort of mid-season skid. Why do you think it is so hard to maintain, whether I don't know if it's energy focus, whatever, for a champion trying to defend their title?
I know I had many conversations with Steve Kerr about this, and there's definitely the fatigue factor. There's just no doubt about that, and then keeping yourself mentally sharp and motivated when you're really good. But those long seasons, you're playing into June, man, and then you got, and somebody these kids got played the Olympics, and it's a lot. I just think there's consequences to that, and then there's from a physical standpoint and from a mental sharpness, you're a great team, and everybody's giving you your best shot, and to get motivated every night after night. And listen, it's not like the Celtics have dropped the ball. It's not like they're in fifth. Yeah. I remember that. What was that one year where the Cavs weren't they like 29th in defense or something, and then the playoffs started, and they were like crushed everybody. So it's kind of like it's kind of. These guys are so smart. They know when they're good. I wouldn't not look too much into the Celtics. Little blip here. They got the same characters. If they had people hurt, and that'd be a different story.
What do you make of this concept of flipping the switch? Like, how easy is that to do, or how easy is it to have? No, we weren't a great team. That team that we had in Atlanta wasn't. It was a hell of a team. I wouldn't say it was a great team, but I don't think if you guys remember, we started resting guys towards the end of the year. We wanted to keep our legs, and look back on that. I wonder, like, did we kind of take our foot off the gas a little too much, right? Like, you still have to keep sharp. So it's really a feel, for the step where you got to know your team, and you got to have those conversations. You got to know where they are physically and mentally. So, and every season's different. So, but it's a real challenge.
Last one, Jeff.
Can you give us an update on Isaac Okoro and Dean Wade's
Oh,
problems?
Isaac was on court today. They were both on court today, shooting, but no contact yet. But I can't give you like a specific timeline. Should I say it's not going to be super long? I don't think, in my opinion. I think you know, probably post All-Star, we're looking at, you know, really ramping them up, I'd say. Does that make sense?